everyone to my channel. On today's video, I'm going to create these 5 Dollar Tree DIYs that you could use around your house for fall. So let's get started. So on this first DIY, I took a Dollar Tree pitcher and I decided to get my Waverly white chalk paint and paint it all over. I ended up doing 2 coats on this because some of the clear was still coming through, so I covered it twice. And it took me a while to decide on what actually I was going to do with it, whether I was going to paint like antique it or if I was just going to do a design on it. And so after I painted it white, I went ahead and let it sit and dry for about an hour before I moved on to the next part of it. And so what I ended up doing is going ahead and doing a shiplap design on this picture. I thought about doing checkerboard, but I was like, no, or like butcher, but I'm really getting into shiplap right now, so I figure I might as well try it on this picture. So as you can see, I'm just taking a straight piece that I had from a previous project, and I'm getting my Sharpie marker and I'm just drawing a straight line. Try not to make too much of a mess with it because I didn't want it to look messy. So as you can see, that's how it turned out. And at the bottom, I didn't pull the lines through, so I decided to go ahead and add this buffalo check paper that I got from Hobby Lobby, and just wrap it around that bottom part of the picture. And so from here, I was just playing around with the flowers that I was going to use in this picture, and I decided to go ahead and use some of that Dollar Tree sticker designs, and I added this blessed, and this is how it turned out. So on the next one, now I'm going to make just a little pumpkin wagon. You could add it to a table centerpiece or end table, whatever you want to add it to. But with that, I got this Dollar Tree pumpkin, and I was just going to cover it with, again, some of that Hobby Lobby paper. And I decided to use this different rustic like wood for it, just to add some little bit of that red, because I've incorporated a lot of the deep red into a lot of my decorating this year too. So I'm just using some Mod Podge to add it to the pumpkin. And here I kind of struggled because I knew it would not stick as well, so I ended up using the glue gun on top of the Mod Podge to get that piece on that front end, because it was like a burlap covering and it was going to be hard to take off, so I just decided to use the hot glue gun for that part. And so next I got these Dollar Tree beads, colorful beads that I ended up putting on some floral stem, and I wanted to make it into a wheel. And I was playing around with the wheel, seeing what I wanted to do, but I ended up putting 7 beads on each end of the stem, and I was going to use that as the bottom for the wagon to hold the wheels in place. And I ended up painting them black, just an acrylic black, the apple butter acrylic from Walmart. And I let that set and dry, and then I got my second set of wheels also put together, and I painted those as well and let them dry. And I ended up giving it 2 coats of paint to cover all the color, and also just did like a little bit of white on top of it, just so it didn't look so like new. It was more like antique in it, or whatever you want to call it. So next I ended up getting this Dollar Tree wood box, and they're the ones that they're a little bit slanted at the end, so they open up a little bit more than just the regular square ones. And I decided to use the Minwax stain and just coated it with that. One thing I've learned about using that stain is you want to wear gloves, because it stains your hands, and it also has a smell to it that is not really nice. So I just let that dry for a little while, and then I decided to let's put it together. And I added the wheels at the bottom, and that floral stem actually helped to stabilize the wheels to position them more parallel to each other. And so I did that for both, and I just glued it down into the wagon box. And I wasn't going to put anything too heavy in it, so it stayed in position with the wire from the stem. And now I'm staining just a dowel rod, and I used a small piece, and I ended up using my miter box to cut that in half because I didn't want it too long. And then on the other halves, I ended up breaking those down into small pieces to stabilize the handle onto the box. And you can see I'm using my hot glue, and I'm putting 2 small pieces in between the long handle, just so it can hold it, keep it sturdy, and where it doesn't shift or anything like that, it kept it centered and angled the way I wanted it to. And then I ended up adding just a little cross piece at the top. And so now you can see I'm putting the pumpkins into the wagon, and I went ahead and added it back to the stand just so I could get it to glue to the wagon. A little bit more firmer stand there. taking just one of those Dollar Tree pumpkins packages, and I just got one of those little pumpkins, and I painted it a white as a base, and then I just added a little bit of brown and some orange just to give it a different dimension with the different colors. And as you can see, I'm adding the brown there and just playing around with the paint to get it to the consistency I want it to be for that pumpkin. And what I liked about this wagon was that I ended up making it a two-way wagon. So on one side you'll see one decoration piece, and then the other side you could turn it around and use it for some a different one. And as you can see, I added the pumpkin, both pumpkins, the little piece that came to that big pumpkin that I pulled off. And I'm just adding a bow. I'm doing just one of these burlap pieces that I had left over from a previous project, and I made it into a little lace bow, glued it on there, and then I added that pumpkin patch sign from Hobby Lobby, which I got it for like $1.80 for their 40 off. And so on the other side, I added that small pumpkin, and then decided to go ahead and add a little flower and a little bit of that succulent. And so you could turn it either way, at least you'll be seeing a different design or decoration for each side. And I added a little bit bow right there. And so this is the final look. I really liked how that turned out. So on my next project, I went ahead and took one of my old Christmas small trees, and I mean, that tree, it's been with me forever, so it's lost some of its oomph, some of its fluff. So I decided I wanted to decorate this for fall, and it's just a small, probably 2.5 feet tree, and I have some lights that I added onto there, the fairy lights. So I left those on there, and then here I am taking some of that Dollar Tree tool or mesh tool, and I'm just adding it around the tree. And basically I'm just using all Dollar Tree floral for the fall, and the leaves, those fall leaves, vines. This I've had for a while. I think I got this from Hobby Lobby a couple years ago, and it's real full, but it's starting to break down as it's aged. So I decided to add that too. And here I am just adding those hydrangeas all through the tree, and then those gerbera flowers. And then to give it some little bit of volume extension, I added those I still can't remember the name of those, but I added those red stems. And also, just to give it a little bit of glitter, just one little vine of that red glitter leaf or vine or whatever it's called. And I'm just adding as much flowers as I can, just to, bring that tree back to life. Giving it a little bit of, different texture. And I really liked how it ended out. I ended up adding a bow to it, not this bow, but you'll see at the end, I added a bow where I placed it at, so it'll be there. So on this next one, I'm just taking a bunch of those Dollar Tree ribbon, and I'm making a big centerpiece bow that I'm going to be using for my my garland, my huge garland outside. And I cut off some of the pieces on there, but it's basically just really just 2 lace bows that I had topped on top of each other, and to get this real pretty look. So next I have finally got to my big garland outside. This is a garland that I've left on throughout the year, and I just change it out every year. And what I ended up doing was taking some of that Dollar Tree ribbon, the long burlap ribbon, and added a bunch of different, the tulle as much, and some of the ribbon to that piece, and I basically just put it on top of my main garland. And it's a lot easier to get that ready, and you can just add it to your garland, whether it's an inside or outside garland. And I was able to use the pipe cleaners to include it into, as you can see. And what I did was just started adding some of that floral vine that I ended up buying from Hobby Lobby for their spring sale, and I ended up getting those for like $2. I think I got 3 of them, and I added just 2 to this piece here. And it's a real pretty yellow, like daisies, I want to say, vine that I added. And I'm just here, throughout here, I'm just adding a bunch of Dollar Tree pieces. You can see I added some of those pumpkin stems that Dollar Tree has that are real cute right now, with the leaves toward the bottom. And I was playing around with that long one, pumpkin, but I ended up taking that off. So on here I am adding the 2 of those smaller bows that I made, just like that main bow that you saw previously. I'm adding 2 of those that I made for each side, and I just put those in the center of the sides. And then I added my main bow, and from there you're just playing around with different decorations that you want to add to there. I added different flowers. I ended up adding some jaberas, some red ones, and you can see I added the cotton stems at the top there. Played around with it up there, did not like how it looked, and took it off. And you can see there's the red flowers that I added on there, and I don't think I ended up using those yellow stems. And I'm just adding those throughout the whole garland, just to give it a little bit of that red color pop. This actually turned out really pretty and really full, as you'll see in the end. So here I'm just showing y'all a close-up of what I have got so far. You can see I have my little hanging basket that I made in a previous video, but I'm just showing y'all how it looks close up. So as you can see, I tied my hair back. It was a humid morning that day that I videoed this, and I couldn't tolerate the the humidity, so I had to tie my hair up. But now I'm adding just 2 of those garden stem pumpkins that, you know, those metal ones that you can just add to your garden outside. And I just took the stem off of there and I added it to each corner, a different pumpkin. One had the farm truck, and the other one I believe had either a wagon or a bicycle. You'll see up. So now I'm just adding these foam pumpkins to just give a little bit more of that orange pop. And I just added 4 to them. And as you can see, this is a close-up, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you've not subscribed to my channel yet, please follow me on my Instagram, Bella Jaclyns DIYs, as well as subscribe to my channel and like and comment. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you could give me a fall leaf in your comments so I can know that you've seen up to this point, I would appreciate that. As always, I hope you guys enjoy your day, and God bless you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.